Previously on Redbeard's Garage. We got a 1990s Carter Brother monster truck go-kart to get ready for a kid for the ultimate Christmas gift. In the first episode, we tore it down and started to fabricate a bunch of upgrades on this chassis. Then in episode 2, we built a battery box, all new bumpers with a winch, and took it for its first test ride. Now we have it all back from powder coat and we only have 1 week to get it ready and ship it off to its new home in Florida. So wish us luck and enjoy the video. First, I'm going to assemble all the hubs, tie rods, and the bumpers. Then I can install the axle, brakes, pedals, as well as the seat frame. Unfortunately, our mic gave out during the build process and was cutting in and out, and I had no clue this was happening until I copied the footage at the end of the build. So I have to work with what I got and then do a voiceover where needed throughout the rest of this video. Here I am explaining how the floor pan should have went in first before the axle in the seat frame. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to drop that all to install the floor pan. So I got to sand this, then we got to mount it up under there, drill all the holes for it. Then we're going to trace out every piece of tube that touches that. We're going to drop the floor pan and put that foam that has sticky on one side. We're going to stick that on the aluminum so there's no metal to metal contact, so we're not going to get a rattling floor pan. So that's, unfortunately, we got to drop the axle and stuff and then flip this frame over. So I'll do that off camera. I'll flip it over, and once I get to mounting the floor pan, and I'll show you guys. But everything's turned out good. We got the brake all hooked up, the throttle all hooked up. Do have to trim the floor pan a little bit for the brake mechanism because it is in the way, but we're waiting on some bearings to put the front spindles on. Then we can get the whole front end done and keep working our way back and eat away little by little on this spring. We also got our first snowfall of the season. We don't get a lot of snow here in Sweetwater, Tennessee, so it was cool to see we had about a ½ inch, but nevertheless, we get right back into work installing the floor pan, steering, as well as the front end. We then installed the engine cradle, transmission, and get the Wildcat 223cc installed on the chassis, followed by the rear bumper. Then I had to quickly make a custom fuel cell and pressure test it. As I have no metal brake, I had to cut reliefs in the aluminum to hand bend the fuel cell. This tank will hold about 1.3 to 1.5 gallons of fuel. Next, the customer wanted matching wheels on his trailer. We had to unfortunately pull the axle and machine new stubs to fit the new wider wheels and tires so they wouldn't rub the sides of the trailer. We found a local upholstery shop to make a matching leather and suede custom seat, and it turned out amazing. All the links to these people that helped out on this build is in the video's description. We got the fiberglass inner fenders painted and reinstalled into the chassis. I did find some see-through mirrors that fit the size of this build perfectly, so with the body back from paint, I started measuring and drilling the holes to get them mounted up. Luckily, I had a few clips on through the rest of the video that the audio was pretty good, and I was able to run them through AI, clean them up, so we can have a few clips with the actual talking points. And a lot of confined space. Stuff is zip tied. It's just a lot of freaking connections. I mean, you got a winch and everything. So you got this key here. I'm going to take all these extra keys off and give them 2 sets, but of course you got the key switch. If we turn it over, it would start. Then you have this switch panel here. We're going to have that PA system mounted there. So you hit power and it comes on. You'll notice I have a backup one. The reason for this is the kid does have a form of autism, and sometimes loud noises can bother them. And it does have a loud backup beeper. We're going to quieten it down a little bit with some polyfill. If you put it in reverse lights and backup, beeper comes on. But if he doesn't like that and it bothers him, he can just hit the backup and then it deactivates it. You know, it basically kills power to the circuit that is that. And then we have cargo lights. That will be the engine bay lights back there. Because what? Looking at our Apple Watch, root of all evil.
Our daughter texts me.
So we got cargo lights, PA system. If we hit that, I've got the PA preset because the volume is so freaking touchy. Which he can play with it, but he can leave it like that, and he can holler at girls. Breaker 19, shouty, what up? And then he can also get out of the road. And then he can also, hey, I said get out of the road. And then it's got a bunch of little noises it makes. That's pretty sweet little go-kart right there. 10-4, Breaker 19, I'm out. Then he can hang his little mic right there. And then he turns his PA system off. You don't have to mess with the volume or nothing. You can set it where you like. And then we have running lights. It's just headlights. They're not in. And this will also turn on the tail light running lights. Then we have roof lights. The roof's not on. And then we have interior lights. And he still has room to grow. We can add 2 more accessories, player. You can leave this on. It just comes on and off the key switch. It's all key switch powered. The only thing it isn't is the brake lights. I left them like a real car. They can be on at all times. So I came up with this bracket, and this bolts right here and holds the cable body. But the problem was where the choke arm set, which I don't even know where it's at now. Oh, it's still on the cable. Where this choke arm set, it was way too low. The choke arm was. So it was trying to pull it up and over at an angle, and it was never going to work. It was going to end up breaking it, is what would have happened. So then I was scrounging like, what am I going to do? So a big block generator carb has this one. These work the same for a generator or a big block or a small block. So that means this will set on here just like it was factory and control the choke. But the difference is this bolts to the carb on the big block. So I grabbed the big block carb. I don't know what this is off of. I think it's an old Vegas Karts carb. But this is threaded here, or sorry, this post is for this arm. So I had to very easily drill and tap that for this tiny little, what size is this metric? A M3 by 0.5. We just tapped it. Now we're about to put this arm on. Then we can screw this arm down, and that's going to give us a higher vantage point to pull on. This should work perfect. I'm hoping. Jesus, take the wheel. And I got the screw over here. Grab it, the screwdriver. It's got a little brass screw that's necked, so it can only tighten so much, and we will red lock out this in because that's what it was on the last one. So I drilled that out and tapped it. I use this as a guide to center the hole, so that's on there now. And the best thing is it can't come off. Factory one, these little car brackets come with this little arm that leans over, so if that ever comes loose, it could pop right off. Where don't have to worry about that now. And I tap this for 1/4 inch and put a cable hold down off a stock Predator throttle setup. So this goes here. This hold down goes through. So now it's too low. So all we have to do is flip this bracket. You know what I'm saying? Then it'll raise it up because I bent it to be low. But of course that wouldn't work. So still got to cut the bed cover. And if I have to, that's something I can mail to him. I mean, you know, it's not ideal, but I have no more time. Like, I've done the very best that I possibly could. And
that's all your mom can ask of you.
That's all my mommy can ask of me. What are we out of? We're out of time, Johnny. Okay, I'm going to figure this out because this is one of the most important things. Next important thing is to ride the freaking thing. Make sure chain don't skip teeth. Very worried about that belt. And there's, other than stretching it, I was talking to Mark at EC. He told me to hit it with a heat gun. Like pop the belt off, hit it with a heat gun, and try to pre-stretch it. Because the belts, I'm sure that's the right model number, is the biggest belt for this setup. We'll figure it out. Becca's got painting to do on a fire first day.
I'm on the second day, actually, so.
This one's talking about people. Watch out who you get with, because they'll abuse you verbally. And when the camera goes off, physical starts. So I'm not saying that I'm physically abused, but I'm saying I flinch. I'll tell you that. She laughs like, the only time I can turn his camera off. All right, let's get back to freaking work. We're running the Pelham business here. It ain't gonna fail by itself. Whoa, back up here. Won't fail by itself. With the damaged audio, we lost a ton of footage where I explained problems that occurred during the build. But long story short, we had to end up ditching the stock carburetor and go with a PZ22 carb last minute and took it for a test ride. We'll also be making a behind the build video or a behind the scenes video explaining all the troubles we ran into and how we overcame them, and give massive shout outs to everybody that helped this become a reality and get this to Florida by Christmas. So watch out on the channel in the next couple of weeks for the behind the scenes of everything that went on with this build. You can hear that the engine was breaking up, but after some cleaning and adjusting the float level, it started running great and we got it tuned in.
Let me check the fuel.
A few moments later.
Pop it neutral. It shifts good. I mean, the belt does squeak, but there's nothing we can do about that. Literally, but I think that either the trash in the car or that bolt fixed it. Like, it's running great. I was thinking probably the bolt. Trash? Bolt. Oh, the hanging down? The float. But running great. We just got a little exhaust leak to fix. Need to tension the chain, but it don't skip none with you. My weight it would.
And I turned around like big driveway and came up the hill on the
And did good? All right.
It's like quarter throttle down and it starts hitting the right.
Yeah, it's fine though. At least it's rev limited. You know what I mean? So this kid, we had to take the stock carb off. We lost the governor, but luckily this Wildcat has the 4,500 RPM coil, which is perfect for a stock flywheel. It shifts great. It runs awesome.
You guys may remember Randy from the Black Yerf Dog buggy build back in the day on the channel. Well, he saved the build and ran down last minute to deliver some cat stickers that his boss had printed for us, and he also helped me install them and place the body onto the chassis. The last final morning, we had to install the wheels and finish off this Carter Brothers monster truck go-kart. So guys, thank you for checking out this video of the build process of this monster truck go-kart. I'm telling you, this was the most stressful job that I ever did because of the deadline, and stuff stayed at paint longer than we imagined, and just a bunch of things held us up. Waiting on bearings to come in the mail. It was last minute as it could possibly be. So I really want you guys to stay tuned for the behind the scenes, so we talk about all the problems that we had. Not counting the audio problem. This camera actually got rained on by accident. I left it outside. It was a huge mistake, but after we soaked it in some dry little crystals, it pulled all the moisture out and it's been working fine. But unfortunately, the mic port on it had corroded from that moisture, and that's what was causing the issue. So some scenes was just static the whole entire time, and some wasn't. So didn't find it out until literally the morning it was leaving. So it left on Sunday before Christmas, and then it got to Florida Christmas Eve. So on Monday. A lot of people I want to shout out in the next video and just talk about all the stuff that went on behind the scenes. I will never do a job again with a deadline because it was an absolute nightmare. Like I said, I was super stressed all the way to the very end, but I kept faith that God had given me all the skills and the knowledge and everything that I needed to complete this job. He also has put so many people in my lives, people I didn't even know, which again you'll find out in the next video about all this, but God had placed so many people in my lives to allow this to be successful. I'm truly thankful for what he has done for us, and thank you guys for such a awesome year. 2024 was great. I cannot wait for what we have in store for 2025. We have so many projects we need to finish up, so many projects I want to start, and just the growth of our channel continues every year, and I can't wait to see where God allows us to go with this. And we really want to say thank you to everybody for supporting the channel for all these years. Honestly, we wouldn't have any of this and any of the success that we've had without you viewing the videos, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing the stuff. We really appreciate it all. So thank you guys so much for the support. We hope you continue to support us in 2025, and it's going to be hard to get used to saying that, but we look forward to another awesome year. We love you guys, and God bless.